That night, while laying down with my eyes closed, but my brain constantly thinking on what next to do with my life, it was as though the bathroom door in my room where I was staying opened. I got up immediately and went straight to both it. There wasn't any air blowing and no windows were open. Immediately I turned back to go back to my bed. The door opened immediately and slammed. That startled me, but it was clear I wasn't alone in the room. Fear gripped me, and from where I stood, I called out to my best friend severally, and she didn't respond. I had to run out from that room and straight to her room. She didn't let me sleep in her room because she always had that policy that she never wanted anyone in her space. So I respected that. And of course, it didn't come to my mind that we had to stay in the same room. When I got to her door, I banged and I banged. No one opened. I had to just calm down, sat in front of the room, praying that whatever was coming for me shouldn't attack me. I started praying in my spirit. Obviously, no one was coming to my rescue. And the more I prayed, it was as though my prayer wasn't even crossing the ceiling. I closed my eyes tightly. And immediately I woke up. It was all a dream. And I was still on my bed in that guest room. I was so familiar with the unseen due to stories of people being shared on the radio on Saturdays back then. And my dad, who played the role of the vigilante when he was much younger, would tell us scary stories and encounters he had during the night back then. I sat at the dining. My best friend walked into the parlor, tapped me at the back. Then she said, "Anything you need is available." Then she smiled and left for work. I was alone all through, trying to summon up the courage to open up to her the dream I had that night. Part of me wanted me to keep mute. Part of me wanted me to open up, just to warn her. Maybe she had already experienced awful things this particular place she was living in. She came back from work that day and I waited for her to freshen up. When I noticed she was done, I knocked and she asked me to come in. I sat on her makeup seat and then I told her that I really wanted to open up to her about something. It was obvious on her face that maybe I had come up with a positive finding in regards to the man that scammed me. But instead, I told her about the dreams. She didn't even say nothing. But the stare she gave me was as though an entity was looking straight into your soul from your eyes. And immediately I sensed the atmosphere of her room changed. I became slightly uncomfortable. The next thing she said was, "Don't sleep on your tummy this night." I should excuse her. She had a long day. While leaving her room, I felt it was going to be a bye-bye from my destiny helper, someone who had pure intentions for me. But with this one year nightmare, I already sacked myself from her life, knowing fully well she never had an open mind towards paranormal stuff. I went back to the room, the guest room, still trying to put calls to the people that I paid to get few things about this man. All came back fruitless. I had my night bath and went straight to the parlor with my duvet due to the sad encounter I had in the guest room. Deep down, I felt it would not follow me to the parlor. I slept off while crying out my eyes, dwelling on what just happened to me. I felt the atmosphere change again. The same feeling I got from the guest room, the same feeling and goosebumps I got when I was in my best friend's room, now getting that same vibe in the parlor where I was. Noticed I had laid down uprightly instead of sideways. Remember, due to my condition, I had the bad habit of sleeping on my tummy. but the new adjustment had to be made. I also felt that advice she gave to me was for my health, not knowing was to welcome whatever was coming for me that night.